Get the money. Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Queens get the money, yeah. I'ma knock it out the park with this one. I'ma knock it out the park with this one, yeah. I'ma knock it out the park with this one. Queens get the money. Queens get the money.
We are live. Welcome back to Queens Get the Money. My name is Barry Grant Jr. A good friend Tom Greer is in the middle there. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. I wore my black for the end of some Met careers today.
You should have worn white because it's a happy day for me. It's not a dark day. There's not a player that got traded today that I'm just like, don't care.
No, it's only a dark day because we're here. Like I'm happy. I'm happy with a lot of the deals that happen.
I'm mourning the season.
Yeah, mourning that we had to sell.
Yeah. You're mourning the season. I understand. So we're definitely going to talk about the trade deadline. We have a guest here in the building, Alfred Parsar of the Metropolitan Report. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. Glad to be here, making my return on the program with you fine gentlemen this evening.
Shouts that Armand is in the building. How you doing, Armand? What's up? Armand, we're gonna get you on the show next week, man. What's up? Let me know if you're available. If you are available, then you'll be on. Whatever day that you're not available, if you're not available, then cool. But if you are, please, you give me that information so we can be able to get it rolling. So a lot of moves, guys. A lot of moves. Guys got traded. I think the guys that we all on our respective shows talked about that needed to be moved got moved, I believe, for the most part. I just want to get a grade and a quick opinion of what the Mets did. I'm going to go ahead and start with Alfred, and then we'll go to Tom, and then we'll have a broader discussion about what we saw. So, Alfred?
Overall grade, Mets trade deadline. I'm going to go ahead and say B. Solid B, only because, and I know we'll get to all the trades in a minute, but the Clay Holmes deal along with Tyrone Taylor to the Cubs, that one prospect that came back, you went ahead to the Cubs, who have a very decent farm, and you plucked their number 2 away from them for a guy who, for all intents and purposes, a guy in Clay Holmes who, yeah, he was great while he was here, but more than likely was going to opt out. And I don't think if he would have stayed and opted out, Stearns and company would have given him a deal that he would have been looking for. And then, of course, Tyrone Taylor, who had the greatest stage audition in the history of trade deadline auditions, became a power hitter out of nowhere. So that deal was great. The deal, Luke Weaver going to the Pirates, again, got a Pirates number 9 prospect coming back. So not bad. Peralta deal, you were never going to get equal value for what you gave up for Freddie coming back for Freddie with how bad he pitched this season, but still a decent haul somewhat. And then the other deals were kind of like, especially that Brooks Raley deal really didn't do anything for me, but, I give them a B. If they wouldn't have moved, and then, of course, I got to knock them a grade because I was leaning toward A- with the top of the transactions, but there's one guy on the team in particular that I feel should have been traded that didn't go. And if we ever get to that topic, I'll elaborate. But there's one guy who I feel should have got flipped for something, and they kept him. So sometimes you got to grade guys on grade organizations on the moves they don't make too.
Absolutely, Tom.
I'm kind of right there with you. I was gonna go like B, A-. I only say that because like admittedly I don't know a lot about the prospects that we got back, and I looked at it as okay. We were going into a lot of this saying that the Mets farm system took a step back a little bit. Like a lot of guys haven't developed in the way that they wanted them to. So the Mets did a good job of retooling kind of the minor league system. And I think that it put them in a good position where a lot of these guys probably won't make the big club or won't affect the major league roster, or the way that they will affect the major league roster is being used in trades to go acquire other players. You know what I mean? I really am excited about the guy that they got from the Cubs. And I kind of agree that I don't necessarily know if they would have paid Clay Holmes what he would have been looking for had he opted out, but Clay Holmes did make it clear that he did want to be here. And could I see a scenario where they do like what the Yankees did with Aroldis Chapman all those years ago, where Chapman wanted to be with the Yankees. They traded him to go get Glaber. Sure, Glaber didn't pan out the way that they wanted him to, but they got Glaber and then brought Chapman back. I don't know if it's necessarily crazy to think that Stearns might do that with Clay Holmes, especially since he was the guy that had confidence saying, hey, I think you could be a starter on my team. So I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know. They got a couple of good players. I didn't like the way David Stearns addressed the shortstop we got from the Pirates in his little press conference, because he most notably talked about how he has been playing a really good defensive shortstop. And I think that that's just going to fan the rumors of Lindor getting traded in the offseason even more. So I was like, you could have just said anything but that. But no, other than that, I can't scream and curse about a lot of guys that I just don't know about right now. You know what I mean? Like we lived in a world where we were excited about these top prospects in Luis Angel Acuna, Drew Gilbert, and Ryan Clifford. And Luis Angel Acuna and Drew Gilbert haven't really given us some stellar major league careers so far. And Ryan Clifford just got benched for Christian Arroyo in AAA. So, I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Listen, whatever moves they made, cool. I'm a wait and see type of guy because you don't know. You don't know about any of these fucking moves. The biggest thing that I have a concern with, and it's the same concern that I've had since day one. Does David Stearns know how to evaluate other franchises, other teams' talent? Does he have the ability to be able to pluck good players out of different organizations to be able to develop them the right way? Because we damn sure knows how he looks in regards to free agency. It's very underwhelming. So it's a wait and see type of thing. These guys have to produce. These guys have to turn into something. Do we trust the organization's ability to be able to develop guys? Infield wise, we haven't seen it yet. They haven't developed an infielder yet. They've developed two guys in the outfield that we have right now. Great. Couple of pitchers been developed. Great. Right? But we need to see it now on a bigger scale, that we now know that we're now set up for the future to be able to have some prospects either be able to come contribute to this team, or they're going to be, like Tom said, in a trade package to be able to acquire more talent down the road. Right? So we don't know what this is, but we can just hope that these guys can be able to get into our system and look better than what we've had this season, because we've had a significant organizational regression from the majors to the minors, right? We need to make sure that we have a certain standard, that we don't have this level of regression anymore, because this is like one of those bad years that sets a franchise back 5 years. You don't want that, right? Like, so you want to make sure that whatever you got during this deadline, you can be able to develop, and then you can be able to move forward and then replenish the cabinet, go out there and go get free agency. If there's going to be a free agency, spend money, go ahead and shore up the bullpen again, get another big bat or whatever it is, and then see what the hell happens. So, you know, for me, it's one of those things that if you want to give it just like a basic grade, sure, I'll give it a C minus or a B, because it's one of those things where it's just like wait and see. It's a wait and see thing to see what these guys do at the end of the day. You know, like I don't know if we're gonna have that, oh, we traded PCA type of thing. We have to talk to the Chicago Cubs fans in regards to how they feel about Jefferson Rojas, if they feel that he's that type of caliber player. You know what I mean? If he is, then hey, then great. If he develops, then now we have something to look forward to in regards to a guy that can be able to play third base, shortstop, second, he can play somewhere in the diamond. And then if he's the guy, then he might be our third baseman for the future. You never know, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just, again, it's just a wait and see type of thing. Because as good as PCA was, and I know I'm going backwards, but what if PCA never developed with the Cubs, right? What if he never developed with the Cubs? Then now that trade for Javi Baez doesn't look so bad, right? But the fact that PCA was the guy and then he ended up developing and was the guy, it just feels different because it's a crapshoot at the end of the day. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alfred, you had a hand up.
To be fair, the only reason why we look back at the PCA for Javi Baez trade was in the long
PCA
term.
Worked out.
Because if you remember, Javi Baez in his short tenure with the Mets had one of the best 3-month spans any Met has ever had.
Very true, but Met fans were I was one of them. Where I was just like, don't trade PCA, don't do that. Like I think every Met fan that followed the minors,
yeah,
they were hoping that when the deal broke, please don't let it be PCA. Please don't let it be PCA.
And you know what the worst part about that deal was? The Cubs originally wanted Matthew Allen.
And where's Matt Allen now?
And Zach Scott said, I'd rather give you Pete Crow Armstrong.
Jeez, bro.
And Matthew Allen is still in our minor leagues organization.
Well, on his 4th Tommy John surgery or something, like that dude just lives on the injured list. The Javi Baez and Pete Crow Armstrong thing always pissed me off because maybe I'm remembering that season wrong, but I remember that trade happening and thinking, what are we doing? Like, I don't think we contend with.
When we made that trade, we were leading the division by 4 games.
All right.
Oh, you're right. No, I guess I did. I guess I am misremembering it.
So now we're gonna get into the actual trades that happened. Break these down and see what you guys think of them.
Yep.
So basically, here, this is who got traded away and who he traded for. So
1/3 of the active roster.
Right. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot there, man. We got, if you want to call this a significant haul just to be able to get those players back. Because what we did was we definitely shored up the infield again, right? Infield, like that is one thing that we were struggling with in regards to our production and our development was infield. So the guy Emilio Pitre is a guy that's everybody's talking about, right? Bruin Agbayani is somebody that everybody's talking about. Jefferson Rojas again, right? I think Spikerman's an outfielder. So, there's some players here that, we can be able to, I guess, look forward to. So I'll go ahead and just put this out here. We can go ahead and go look at the trade. Let me do this.
Admittedly, everybody watching, I absolutely ruined this graphic. Just saying. I totally take responsibility for it.
The graphic, but it's fine. So let's do this. All righty. So who we got here? So the first one, the AJ Minter trade. That was the Billy Amick and Bruin Agbayani. So, I mean, listen, to get a guy that is a homegrown bloodline type of player, you like to see it, right? You like to see that there's some connection there to the Mets organization. Is Bruin Agbayani going to be good? Is Billy Amick going to be good? Billy Amick has power, but there's a swing and miss rate that's a little high for him, right? Like, so we don't know what these guys are. I don't trust this organization enough to be able to fix guys' swings because we haven't seen it. So I'm curious to see how these power guys that we get in our organization actually develop instead of the guys that actually have, good contact abilities. You can be able to develop power with those guys. But how do you fix a guy that already has holes in their swing and you as an organization has not shown the ability to be able to tighten up those holes in people's swings? That's my concern, right?
Well, I would say at the minor league level, I feel like they've been able to adjust some of those swings. Like when they sent Alvarez back down last year, he kind of found his stride again. I mean, it feels like anytime somebody gets sent back down to AAA, they turn into, home run hitting machines. Look at Ronnie. So
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little skeptical about what it would look like getting up here. But again, I think am I wrong? Did Billy Amick have a home run in his second at bat for the Rumble
think so.
Ponies when he came
did,
here?
Yeah. He had a 2-hit game that game as well.
Yeah. And Bruin Agbayani, I'm just praying that dude can be good. I want to bring back some of the 2000 Mets. I want to bring back some of those vibes when I was a kid. I just think that's awesome. But again, like Bruin Agbayani, I don't even think he's 21 years old yet.
No, he's 19. But he hasn't played more than like 7 games or 10 games.
Injury prone.
Injury prone. And I think what we're gonna find is my only thing that's why I feel like this trade deadline is really just about retooling the farm system to eventually make trades, because a lot of the guys that they traded for are either high A or double A players. Like the Mets are not. If you're telling me that the Mets are looking to compete in 2027, guys that are in high A or double A aren't the guys that we're going to have to be relying on. Those are going to be guys that are going to have to get shipped out so we can bring in reliable guys. You know what I mean? Like you can't tell me we're going to compete in 2027, but oh, by the way, just wait. At some point, Benny Agbayani or Billy Amick is going to come up and light the world on fire. It just like I feel like you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, no, you can't. You definitely can't. This is one of my favorite trades right here for Peralta. Just because Gary Gilhill, I know about the kid.
Local kid.
Yeah, local kid. I think he's a Westchester kid, no, Alfred?
Yeah, from Cortland.
Yeah. So, this is a kid that, there's definitely some talent there, some stuff there. Aiden Smith, he's a 5-toolish type of player, right? Can he be able to get those things together? And then everybody's raving about Petrie, the fact that defensively, the hit tools, everything that he has. So am I mad about the haul for Freddie Peralta? No, I'm not upset, because the fact that we can be able to get anything for him, and any team was willing to give up anything for him, from a guy that admitted himself that maybe the pressure got to him in New York. Like, for somebody to admit that, don't come back here, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go to Tampa, and like, I hope you enjoy it down there, and I hope you stay, because you are not a big game pitcher, especially not in the bright light. So whatever we got from Tampa, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. We'll be able to develop these guys, if not be able to be in the, on the team at some point, but be able to be a package deal and be able to get somebody else. So I'm happy for whatever the hell we got for Freddie Peralta, because I wanted him gone in the worst way. What's the other one here? The fact that we traded that somebody wanted Ben Horvat, like that was interesting to me.
Well, the Dodgers gave him to us in the offseason. We claimed him off waivers from them.
Yeah.
And they wanted him back. So
right.
They do need catching help, because Will Smith has been hurt. Dalton Rushing has been playing catcher every day, and then that rookie, I think his name is Eliezer Alfonso, if I'm correct. He's been like inconsistent, so I guess they know Rortvedt. Rortvedt has 2 rings with them. He was on the 2020 and 2014, so maybe that's backup catcher insurance, maybe.
And what we got was a pretty much like a quadruple A pitcher. So
yeah,
this is Chapman. He's going to be somebody that's probably going to be on the 40-man, and probably you're going to see him probably right away with the Mets to see what he has.
Oh, he'll be on what I like to call the up and down shuttle. He'll pitch 3 innings in bulk relief for us, and then back to down to Syracuse you go for 2 weeks before you come back.
Right. Brooks Raley deal. Spikerman. You got the other kid there. What's his name? Garrison?
Luke Gabrish,
who
Gabrish. Is the unranked prospect in the Philly system I was talking about.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Well, I don't like the fact that we traded with the Phillies. I don't like that. But
is he the one that pitched with? Is he the one that played with? Benj and McLean? I know we traded for somebody that played with them.
That's Gabe Davis, I believe.
Oh, Gabe Davis. Okay. Did I leave that off here?
He was.
I did leave that off here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabe Davis was an Oklahoma State teammate of Benj and McLean.
I knew.
I think he went undrafted, didn't he?
Think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he went undrafted. And then we have so this is the one that really puzzled me, because Luke Weaver under control. We have another year of him, right? The Mets decided to pay $2 million this year, and then they're willing to pay half of the contract next year. So you're paying $8 million, and you only got one prospect back. Now, the kid Stafora is a good player, right? Like people are raving about this kid. Grew up in Westchester, grew up a Mets fan. He's a big, like he got the news. He's super excited. I'm happy for the kid. And I'm happy for us to be able to get a guy that's so passionate to be here. But there's always a but. If you're going to go ahead and eat half of this contract, you mean to tell me that you couldn't get another one or two prospects to be able to throw into this deal? That to me is just like, okay, you're trying to get quality over quantity. But wouldn't you still be able to try to get something else because you've given them so much? Like, this is a guy that's one of the best relievers in the game right now. He has a very, very reasonable contract, and you ate half of it, and you only walked away with one fucking prospect. So explain that to me. I would love to hear from you guys in regards to how you guys felt about it when you seen the deal. But that's what I saw. I'm just like, okay, cool. We got the player. How the fuck do you just get one prospect? Alfred?
Let me. You know what? It has been no secret that I am not a fan of the boy wonder and the moves that he makes. But this something like this, and pardon my anger here, but this is what gets me really, really aggravated because, and remember, Barry, we've had conversations in private through text and phone call and whatnot, and I was so gung-ho and so sure that if Raley and Minter and Brazoban got, I was telling you this for like the last 2 weeks, if one of those three went, I expected Weaver to stay. Also expected Weaver to stay because the man went on the podium and once again laughed in our faces and was like, we're going to compete in 2027. We got a guy here whose ERA is under 2. Under 2. He went 26 straight appearances without a single earned run in a lost season. And I really wanted them to keep this guy because my train of thought is this. It's a bad year, but Weaver has really been on point. Worst case scenario, if he's a dud next year or we're not contending next year, we can flip him at next year's deadline, barring some act of God or injury or something. And then you only get, granted, Stafora is a great prospect.
Great prospect, right?
But as great as Weaver was pitching, with an extra year of team control on his contract, and if you're going to move him, which I think was the wrong idea, by the way, but to move him and only get one prospect back, it doesn't make sense. But yet you could move Brooks Raley and take fool's gold for him. But you have your best. He was the best reliever in our bullpen, numbers wise, the best. And but I also get the logic because I've heard some people say, well, last year he was unpitchable. You never know what next season is going to bring.
It's about selling high. It's about selling high.
But I think he would have had more value next year going to a rental, going to a team that's better than the Pirates, to a team that could, because the Pirates are chasing a wild card. It's not like they're chasing their division. You could have sent Weaver to somewhere else next year, pending whatever you look like in the standings. I just think there was a flop on this part. Granted, you got one great player back, but he could have got one or two more out of it, especially for a guy who has another year. It just didn't make sense to me.
Tom?
I kind of understand that. I like kind of what Barry said. Like I was a little disappointed that it didn't get back more. I agree with you. I was a little bummed about that because I was just like, pitching's usually at a premium. You know, you can never have too many bullpen arms, especially if you're going to chase a playoff spot. Like Luke, like you said, the year of control. I thought that might have been a benefit. The more I think about it, with how fickle bullpen arms are, I don't know. I think if he's good right now, I'm not going to worry about next year. If I can get the best prospect back available, cool. That's great. I don't necessarily want to bank on Luke Weaver definitely being what he is this year, next year, because you see how hot and cold bullpens usually relievers usually are. You know what I mean? So I don't want to risk it next year for us to, if God forbid we're selling again next year, I don't want to risk it. Like, what if Luke Weaver's, like we said, like he was the season before, totally unpitchable? You're going to be doing what you did with Freddie Peralta and sell it for pennies on the dollar, So, and I don't know, maybe the idea that relievers are so fickle, maybe teams were like, you know what? I don't know if I want an extra year of control with this guy because I don't know what he's going to be next year. I don't know if I want to give you all of this if I got a guy that might flame out next year because he's had good years, he's had bad years, so I don't really know if that's what major league teams are really thinking, but if this guy's as good as everybody says he is, the guy that we traded for, I'll be fine. I don't even know if he's going to be here to make the big club. He might be traded for a left fielder, a starting pitcher. He might be a first baseman. Like he might get traded for something else. I have no idea, but I don't know. I'm fine with it. Yeah, let's see what this guy turns into. Initially, I was a little shocked by the one player and that you had to actually pay money to get him out of here, but I can't go too crazy. I'm not worrying about Luke Weaver next year because I don't know what Luke Weaver we're getting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know that we're going to get the guy that we've been seeing. I don't know if we're getting the best bullpen arm in our bullpen again next year. And I'm never really I'm always worried about the Mets bullpen because it never seems good enough, but like, go get names, throw them in there, see if they work out, and just do the revolving door of relievers because teams do it all the time.
Yeah. Listen, I am that's just my thing, right? We got a question here. What trade did DeGrom block?
The best one.
He blocked the trade for the Braves. He said, "Go fuck yourself. I am not going anywhere. And if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going back to Queens. I'm not going to no Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's not happening. It's not. I wish that we were good so we can be able to call Texas and say how much you want for him.
Oh, that's
what you want for him.
Kick in the balls.
You know what I mean?
Trade deadline.
That's what hurts because we could have called Texas and say, hey, what you want for him?
and just play simple, man.
Yeah, they would have been like, hey, he
would have got a ticker tape parade down Roosevelt Avenue.
Hell yeah!
Is Jonah Tong available? Hey, if you're gonna give us the ground, we'll give up Tong. Just give us the ground back.
Yeah, bring him home.
Bring him home. Straight, 1-for-1, and we good. We all right. That's what I would want, but it's not gonna happen. Maybe next year. So yeah, the Huascar Brazoban is the one that you left off, Tom. We got Gabe Davis and Zach Franklin. So, Gabe Davis, 6'9", flamethrower. I like it. The guy, I think on an average, I think he throws anywhere between 95, 96, 97, can touch 100. It's a dude that can sling it. So we don't have many guys like that in our system. To have a guy like that in our system is really, really good. And he has the ability to be stretched out as well. So those are things that David Stearns is like giddy about that. The fact that you can be able to have a hybrid guy like a Clay Holmes that you can be able to actually, convert into a starting pitcher if you do deem that necessary. Because I think right now in the minors, I think he's going anywhere between like 3 or 4 innings at a time. So, that's pretty good to have a guy that can be able to dial it up at that level and be able to give you, additional innings on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly really all this trade deadline did for me is just say, okay, what are we going to be looking at when we have an idea of what next season is going to look like once the collective bargaining agreement stuff is handled? What is next year's off season necessarily going to look like? Because I'm anticipating a lot of these guys or other guys in the organization being used as trade chips to go get better players. Again, you can't tell me you're expecting to win in 2027 and saying, okay, this young group of players is going to be what gets us there. Because that's just straight up fundamentally not the case. That's not happening. So Stearns said it in his press conference. Yeah, in his presser, he said that like some of these guys, they might surprise you like an AJ Ewing did, but some of these guys might be used to go flip and get some other players. I actually, real quick, I want to ask Alfred this because I asked you and Nicole it last Thursday. I am with you guys. I have finally, I don't know if you've been here since I've done it. I've hopped off the David Stearns bandwagon. I think the guy's an idiot.
I've joined the team.
I've joined the team. But I will say there was one little thing that I had just as posed as a question. So David Stearns made his money in Milwaukee, notoriously not high spenders. They're guys that kind of try to build through their farm system, try to acquire young talent, develop them, and then let them go when they make a ton of money. Am I crazy for having like a weird, like small bit of confidence that when David Stearns is acquiring younger players, younger talent, and building the Mets that way, that I can be a little, I can have some semblance of confidence that some of these deals are going to work out, or some of these young players are actually going to work out, because that's how he had to build teams elsewhere, not here.
Milwaukee and us are two totally different animals.
Agreed. No, agreed.
But seeing how Benj has worked out, and seeing how Ewing has worked out, even seeing how Thornton has been working out, you're not foolish to believe that route. I do still think that in a market like New York, you're still going to need to go get some proven veteran talent.
Agreed.
But you can supplement that with homegrown guys that you brought up from the farm. So no, that's not a crazy train of thought. Not at all.
You know, and I think that's what kind of plays into, our discussion that we've had for so many times on this show, is that if David Stearns is going to be this guy where he's going to go ahead and try to pluck young talent and develop them from early and see what they can be able to become, whether they're trade assets or they're actually developing to be able to be called up on your team at some point, then let him focus on that. But go get a Bulldog GM that can be able to make moves and close deals.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't do both.
Here's why.
Not shown the ability to do both. If he's gonna do that, then be good at that. But go get us a Bulldog GM. That's all I'm saying.
Here's why.
He can be your guy. He's gonna answer to you anyway. But at least he knows how to be able to close deals. That's what I need. That's what I need.
Here's what hurts about Clay Holmes getting moved, because I said it on my show last week. If you would have given Clay Holmes, you would have after he opts out, you would have paid him, right? Whatever. Think about that rotation for a second, right? Hypothetically speaking, you would have had Nolan McLean, you'd had Christian Scott. I think Zach Thornton has shown us enough that he might be able to pencil his way into the rotation to begin next year. And then, of course, you're going to have Sean Manaea, who, if you would have told me 6 months ago that Manaea would have been a pretty good as a starter this year, I'd have laughed at you. But he's actually not been bad, and Holmes would have been your rotation right there. And I think that's a pretty serviceable big league rotation now that Freddie is gone. But I guess Stearns.
But here's the other side of that. What if you keep Clay Holmes and then he opts out of the deal and then you lose him anyway?
Well, that's also a. Well, you know what? Judging from what he said in the media, I think Clay Holmes would have wanted to stay.
But he still would have opted out to try to get a bigger contract.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And
that's why I'm not leaving it out. I'm not leaving it out of the realm of possibility that they try to they offer Clay something.
You never know. You never know that there's a handshake, wink, wink deal. Hey, listen, Clay, we're just gonna trade you right now. But hey, let's talk. Let's talk in the offseason.
I am a little nervous that he's gonna get. But I am he might get more money than the Mets are comfortable paying simply because
it depends on how he pitches down the stretch.
Him and Freddie.
Right. If Clay Holmes ends up being the difference maker for a team to be able to have a long run in the playoffs, he's going to get paid. Right.
Oh, yeah.
But if he doesn't and he's just decent, then you can be able to get a Clay Holmes on a Sean Manaea deal. And I think I'm comfortable giving Clay Holmes a Sean Manaea deal than I was giving Sean Manaea the Sean Manaea deal. Just because Clay Holmes has better stuff.
So you think Clay Holmes is worth $25 million per year?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he's worth 13,
I would gladly give Clay that number over Manaea. Although Manaea has bounced back this season when given.
Yeah, he's bounced back. We're definitely not going to say that, but Clay is a better pitcher than him.
Oh, of course.
He's miles better than him.
I just wonder if people get crazy.
25, then Clay should be making that much.
I just wonder if people get crazy because after Skubal signs wherever he's going to sign, I don't think the Mets are giving him that.
He's not coming here.
They're not giving him 10 years.
So are we going to do a wager now? Or are we going to bet?
I'll do it. Yeah. I will take a side.
Taking side bets.
I don't think they're signing to do a 10-year deal.
On this show right now, I'm taking side bets. What's up? Right?
What are the stakes?
Don't scare out now. I'm taking side bets.
What are
What's
you
up?
what are you willing to wager, sir?
What's the price? What's the price?
Listen, I am 100% sure Scooble's not coming here.
So what's the price is what I'm saying. If you're 100% sure, then put the money up. Put the money up.
I'll take you out to dinner somewhere.
No. Because if you do that, then I'm gonna go ahead and run up the bill. Don't do that.
I will take you to dinner somewhere on a $50 limit, sir.
I will run up the bill. $300 is what I can eat. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. I'm telling you right now.
You know why Scooble's not coming here?
Is coming to Queens.
David Stearns don't like long-term commitment.
It's not about David Stearns. It's about the other guy that says, I want Tarik Skubal. Just like how he told him, I want Juan Soto, and I don't give a damn what you tell me.
But do you think Tarik Skubal is just going to get the bag and come here with no chance to win?
We talked about this over the phone, right? Off pod, I said that Tarik Skubal wanted to go to the Dodgers, right? Here's the reason for that. And obviously, we're not talking about this is talking about the Mets, but we're not talking about the Mets. He wanted to go to the Dodgers because you can go get your ring now. Go be a part of a championship team. Go be a part of a championship clubhouse. Help that team get to the championship again and win a third straight. Because once you do that, he's already won his championship ring. Now it's time for me to go get paid. I'm not doing no deferred money. I want the bag. So that's why if the Dodgers get a championship and Tarik Skubal helps them get there, I don't see the Dodgers going crazy and want to go re-sign a Tarik Skubal. They are going to give him an offer, but it's not going to be the highest bid out there to the point where the Mets are not going to go in there and compete for that. I guarantee it, bro. I guarantee it. Outside of the Yankees and maybe the Red Sox, the Mets have the best chance to be able to get Tarik Skubal.
I think they have the tools to go Skubal. I just don't know if they're gonna actually. I also kind of sort of fight against the whole Juan Soto was only Steve Cohen's doing. Like I've heard how David Stearns talks about Juan Soto. I think he does really like Juan Soto. I think Steve Cohen definitely helped out, but I don't think it's all him. I think
Scott Boras. We know the story from the documentary. It was Steve Cohen's wife who really brokered that deal.
Yeah,
that's fair. No, that's fair. I can't live in a world where I see David's. I can't live in a world. I can't imagine a world where David Stearns is giving out a 10-year deal to Tarik Skubal. How old is he now?
30.
30. I don't see him
coming
giving
off
a deal
elbow surgery mid-season too.
Yeah, but again, but in the same token, like I can't see, like it really is just going to be the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets. I don't know if the Red Sox would pony up that much money for a guy like that. It
might be a dark horse team that comes in there. Like
who's got the money like that though? Nobody.
Chicago, maybe.
I mean, Chicago does. The Cubs don't really spend a lot.
No, but
you
they will on occasion.
I guess so, maybe. I mean, I guess by default you have to put the Mets in there. I just have a really hard time believing that they're gonna be, especially because didn't Steve Cohen say when he was doing that interview with Joel Sherman and John Heyman, he's a little nervous about what the financials are going to look like next year because of all the contracts they have on the books right now.
Well, yeah, he's concerned about just the state of the team in general. You know what I mean? Because, but they do have they do have the ability to be able to move a lot of these pieces. Like think about it. If Bo Bichette opts out, then now you're not eating another $40-something million, and now that's off your books.
You
right?
think he's gonna opt out though?
He will
probably.
Think so?
Depends on if he's getting some intel.
He's making a lot of money next year.
If he gets intel that a team is willing to give him a 5 to 6 year deal, why wouldn't he?
I guess again, it's all gonna. I mean, we're all talking fantasy world right now because we have no idea what baseball is going to look like next year. And real quick, Armand, the reason that the Yamamoto thing is different is because Yamamoto was younger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm more willing to give a big deal to a younger pitcher. I mean, I give it to Skubal because it's not my money. I don't care.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't think it's a guy like Skubal. You throw all that bullshit out of the window in regards to, oh, he's not young enough. Hey, the dude is a beast. If you want a guy that's a beast, you sign him. Okay, I don't give a damn if he's 30. He's going to be able, if you sign for a 10-year deal, he's going to give you 5 good years. 5.
Yeah.
5 solid years until he starts to break down. So give it to me. Give it to
Yeah.
me.
I again, I would love Scooble here. I just don't think I can't. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
And then Tom, you know my motto, right? You know, we get Scooble, and then you call Clay and say, "Hey, listen, we just got Scooble.
Come on back.
Give me both of them."
I thought you were gonna say, let's
Yeah.
take some of these prospects we got and go get Skeens. So
No,
we're living in that fantasy
That's
world.
impossible. That's impossible. Although I would have never thought that we would have lived in a world where Adley Rushman has a bigger haul than fucking a Scooble got. They traded heaven and earth for that guy.
To be fair, Tigers look like they gave up on their season because they flipped Casey Mize today. for
I
next to nothing as
understand,
well.
but that's Tarek Scooble.
Well,
That is kind of crazy. Adley Rushman hasn't even been that. He's been okay, but he
No.
hasn't even been that good. He's been hurt all year.
wasn't he an
Yeah.
All-Star this year? No?
Bro,
He's been hurt a lot.
They got
he an
the
All-Star?
Red Sox. Oh, George Lombard's getting called up. Nice.
Who cares?
Yeah, so Armand, don't come in here with that garbage. Okay? We don't talk Yankees.
You
in
was
here.
just impressed by that news 20 seconds ago.
I like the kid, but we don't talk Yankees in here. Okay, that's a strike. That's a strike, Armand. We love you, but don't do it again. I mean, look, as Met fans, we have to just wait and see. Like I am somebody who I've been on X all morning. I've been on all the social media platforms. And Tom has said something earlier today. He was just like, yo, dude, like it's so toxic to be on these sites sometimes because it's like there's so much negativity
Oh, yeah.
on these moves. And it's just like, yo, I am not a professional. I am not a professional scout evaluator, and nobody that's on X is either. Like, give it a chance to be able to see what these kids, because the one thing that you can't measure with any of these prospects is heart and desire and the will to be able to improve and get better. You don't know what these kids are. It's a crapshoot. All of these kids can hit, or guess what? None of them can hit. But I'm not gonna blame David Stearns for that. It's about what these kids are gonna be able to develop and do.
It's like a box of chocolate.
Yeah, you got to give them an opportunity to succeed, to swim or sink. And that's what we're going to give them. So as Met fans, it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue. My biggest concern is how we're going to improve this team, the major league team, as well as be able to regenerate the farm system. So now we can use the farm system as a tool to be able to acquire more talent. That's how I want to see this thing. So that's my biggest concern.
But people also have to remember we're sellers. Whenever you're a seller in the trade deadline, you're always going to give up what you got for prospects to retool for the future. Especially because we graduated Thornton, we graduated Scott again, we graduated Benj and Ewing, so the farm system was going to take a step back.
Yeah.
So you have to regenerate the farm, not just to see who could come up and be a major league player, but like you said, to develop assets to get trades in the offseason. So, like, I'm part of a Facebook group called Mets Fans for Life, and some of these trade deadline takes are so idiotic. People calling for the trade. I think they wanted to trade Luke Weaver for Marcell Ozuna and all this other type of foolishness. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, when the trade deadline is one of two ways. When you're a buyer, you get major league talent and you give up prospects.
Right.
When you're a seller, you get prospects and you give up the major league talent. Right. So very rarely, like there's maybe only one time I could ever think where the Mets were not necessarily a buyer nor a seller. It was 2019 when they got Marcus Stroman. And that was more of a let's make a move for the following season type of thing. But 2023, when we got rid of Scherzer, we took Luis Acuna, who was a prospect at the time. I forgot what we got for Verlander, but I'm pretty sure
Verlander was Ryan Clifford and
right, there you go, prospects.
Drew Gilbert.
Yeah, Drew Gilbert.
Yep. And the Mets have had some really bad years where they sold 2017, 2018. So, 2007, I believe, not 2008. But yeah, so, anytime you're a seller, you're never going to get any big league ready talent back unless it's like a guy who's been in AAA for a while. And even so, if you're that down bad at this point in the season, you have no leverage. You have to take the best thing that some team is willing to give you. And I'm surprised that we got the number 2 from the Cubs, all things considered, because Tyrone Taylor, although he's been, the second coming of Hank Aaron in the last couple of weeks, he's not even a starting caliber everyday outfielder. And Clay Holmes has got one leg right now. So, at this point, we got to take what we can get so that we can rebuild.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, I am a little nervous about. I'm confident in the young players that David Stearns can bring in and evaluate. I am a little nervous of him using those young. I'm nervous about the players that he's going to get for trading them. That I'm a little nervous about.
I will go out on a limb and say because he got 2 shortstops in Rojas and Stafara, I think that he's preparing the Mets organization for life post Francisco Lindor.
That's smart.
As you should.
Especially since Ronnie Mauricio is not panning out.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, well,
I'm done.
Ronnie, even if he does pan out, I think
he's going to pan out elsewhere.
His future, even if he's going to pan out here, I think his future is the corner infield. He has to either be a third baseman or he can be able to work on his first baseman skills. He doesn't have the range.
He's historically
the range to be a shortstop.
As well.
Huh?
He's historically played second base as well.
Yeah, but I think that because he's a big guy with a big frame, and as he continues to put on more muscle and weight, I think he grades out at first base pretty good. Ronnie
Mauricio strikes me as an Arizona Diamondback. I don't know. That's for some reason. I don't think it's working here. I am over the Ronnie Mauricio experiment. Cleveland Guardian, maybe. I think it's smart. I think you're right. I think it's smart for the Mets even to consider what life is going to be like after Lindor, because a lot of these guys are really young. You're going to have them, for a little while in your minor league system if you don't trade for them. What I want to stop, though, is what I really just desperately need to stop is everybody bitching and complaining about the prospects individually. That bothers the hell out of me, because I don't care if you're a major league scout. I don't care if you're a major league talent evaluator. I don't care if you're a podcaster or TV pundit. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You know nothing. You have no idea what any of these people are going to look like when it comes to the major leagues. The prospects we mentioned before, Luis Angel Acuna, pretty positive. That was the Rangers' number 1 prospect. Ryan Clifford, Drew Gilbert were in the top 10. I think it might have been like 3 and 5 or 3 and 4. It's somewhere around there.
They were up there. Yeah,
they were up there. I had to listen to how Brett Beatty was a top Mets prospect. I had to listen to how we've had beef with Francisco Alvarez. Francisco Alvarez was a can't miss catching offensive phenom. Yep. Again, I brought it up. I think the first day that we did here, everybody remembers how good Lasting Village was supposed to be. These guys get graded to be such high talents, and then they come up and turn into nothing.
Yeah.
You have not a single clue. I hope Jefferson Rojas, if he stays here, can be a competent a good third baseman up here. I hope so. I got no fucking idea.
That's an everyday player is all I care about.
That number 2 prospect next to his name means literally nothing to me. It's a different language. I don't care. All these prospects that we got back they might as well. Did you guys play NCAA 27 or any of the NCAA games that came out?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how when you're playing Dynasty mode and you can go recruit players and they're all just made up names?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly what this list of players is to me. Just made up names. Until they're on the major league roster, I don't care at all.
It's true. It's kind of like playing the show, right? You go ahead and you draft players and you have them produce. You kind of forget about them until you have to set your 40-man or you start to put your minor league rosters and your lineups together. Oh, this guy looks like he's pretty good. But it doesn't impact your fucking team right now. Who gives a shit?
To be fair, the show does use actual real minor leaguers on their
yes,
roster.
but they don't there's a lot of guys that get generated as fakes. That's all I'm saying is that the longer you play is the more generations you get.
Ernest probably wasn't happy with what I just said.
Oh,
I said Ernest probably wasn't happy with what I just said because he loves him some prospects.
That and curse you out because he loves to hoard his prospects. But I mean, that's exactly what it is, right? This was a quote that that touched my soul. And shouts to Bobby Ojeda. Like he said about David Stearns that he places the blame for the season's $500 million failure on David Stearns. And I quote, he said, he built this thing, and I don't think he believes in intangibles, which I believe are so important to a winning ball club. I don't feel like he's taken enough accountability either. Thoughts on that, Tom?
I don't. It's weird because like I put a lot of the blame on David Stearns, but I think David Stearns believed in Mark Vientos' intangibles. I think he believed in some of these players are going to be able to overcome some of their injury histories. Like I believed he had too much faith in some of these players, where I that's kind of how I'm looking at this, because you had faith that we were going to get Lou Bob from his stellar years with the White Sox, that we were going to get the Jorge Polanco that was just like a hitting machine. Like he had too much faith in some of those intangibles and was like, I'm just going to forget about the fact that they don't play baseball. So I don't know. I don't know. I put a lot of blame on David Stearns for a lot of things. I don't know if it's like disregarding like the intangibles of a baseball player. These guys theoretically are good baseball players that just didn't really pan out. And I think he has taken accountability. I don't have to see any more post press conferences he does where he says, yeah, no, I effed up. Like he's admitted it. Like every home press conference that he does since they've been terrible, he said, I didn't expect us to be here. I don't want us to be here. He's put it on his shoulders. He said it's his fault. You know, What else does he have to do? Go out and tar and feather himself? You watch Game of Thrones, does he have to walk around the stadium naked with somebody ringing a bell? You know? Please don't do that, David Stearns. No one wants to see that.
Alfred, what are your thoughts?
He may not have to tar and feather himself, but he should put a bullseye on his forehead and walk down the streets of Flushing and let everybody take free aim at him that wants to. Let me tell you something about this guy, David Stearns, right? This guy thought that he was so much smarter than all three of us put together in the whole Mets fan base with his Harvard degree. The man shooed away the longtime first baseman. I'm not going to beat that dead horse. And rather than replace him with even a mediocre first baseman, he put a hodgepodge of non-first basemen at first base. And it just hasn't worked out. The best guy who's played first base is a left fielder by trade, who Barry doesn't even want on the team next year. No. That's number one. Number two, yes, he took accountability, but he took accountability far too late. When we were losing 12 games in a row between April and May, he sat there and looked at us through the camera on his podium and behind the microphone and said, everything is going to be all right. Now, granted, yes, you have to believe in yourself, but he's delusional. There's no team in the history of Major League Baseball to ever go on a 12-game losing streak and make the playoffs. These statistics exist for a reason. And then even before they fired Mendy, which he fired Mendy way too late, by the way, he was like, the manager's doing a great job. Great job? You lost 12 in a row? Then you break the losing streak with one game and you go ahead and lose another 4 or 5 in a row? Like come on. Like, at this point, is either you believe your own delusions, you're lying to yourself, or you're just playing in my face, or a combination of the three.
And here's why, and I'll inject something as well. I think what you just kind of laid out and what you were talking about as well, Tom, is what Bobby Ojeda is talking about, is that letting go of a Pete Alonso is literally ignoring intangibles.
Correct.
Right? Like you got rid of a guy, or you let a guy walk because you didn't believe in the grand scheme of what he brought to this team. Like presence, clubhouse, importance, production, fan adoration. All of those things are cumbersome of how you evaluate a player's worth and value to your franchise. A lot of times, David Stearns takes the intangible sides of that out, and he just looks at numbers. You cannot build a baseball team just based on numbers, because we talked about this in regards to Moneyball is that. You cannot build Moneyball in Queens. You cannot build Moneyball when you have the richest payroll in baseball. You need to go ahead and build intangibles, because in New York, more than Milwaukee, more than Kansas City, Cleveland, any of these situations is that you have to bring in guys that have intangibles to be able to handle New York City. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the biggest things that are the most valuable to be able to evaluate a player when you're bringing them here in New York. That's where he has a blind spot. And if he does not fix that, he's not going to be here that much longer, because intangibles is a very big, important part of what makes a player great. You cannot just ignore that. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Alfred.
And then to go to Tom's point about the accountability, he was forced to be accountable because he has had 2 admissions of failure this season. Firing Mendoza was one, because that was his guy that he brought here. And then number 2, trading Peralta is an admission of failure too, because you gave up 2 top 10 prospects in the organization for this guy who you gave us all hope that we had an ace now.
Yeah.
And now you had to ship him out because it just didn't work out.
But I can't give him crap for Freddie Peralta, because the Mets had to make a move, and that was the best pitcher available. And again, I'm not killing him for trading Sproat and Jet, because Jet hasn't.
You don't kill him there, but you also got to remember he has a personal connection to Peralta, which makes Peralta his guy. Remember, he discovered Peralta in Milwaukee.
No,
but Alfred, I'm the fact that I have to defend David Stearns is crazy. Most GMs or most presidents, if they come from somewhere else, they're going to bring their guys that they're comfortable with. That just happens.
And he was the guy available. He was available. You know?
And I know Barry is going to disagree with me what I'm about to say, but we all knew on paper, and I was skeptical before this season started, and I told Barry plenty of times, I don't think this team's going to be good this season. Did I not, Barry? But I go back to the St. Louis Cardinals this season, and I know Barry's going to roll his eyes and say it's not the same thing, but that general manager in spring training looked his fans in the face through the TV cameras and apologized before spring training even started and says, listen, I know you hold us to a high standard. I apologize for the rebuild. You're going to see some terrible baseball this season, and they're a middling 500 team. Whereas our guy, we're going to compete. We intend to compete. We're going to be a contender this year. And
here's my question.
And we are one Colorado Rockies winning streak away from having the worst record in the NL.
Here's my question to that. How can you go and sit on national TV on SNY, the big press conference, and tell your fan base that I'm not sure if we're going to be that good this season when you have the highest payroll in baseball? How does that correlate?
Well, that goes to the team he built. The
Cardinals. How can you say that
and said we're going to be in a rebuild, and they're in the hunt for a wild card spot
because the Cardinals spend $6 on a payroll. It's different.
I also don't think that, again, I think the problem is we're also prisoners. Hindsight's 2020. We're looking at the Mets as they are right now. I never would have expected Bo Bichette to be this bad most of the year. I never would have expected Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto to basically never play baseball together.
Right.
I wouldn't have expected
Clay Holmes to get hurt.
I wouldn't have expected Clay Holmes to get hurt. I wouldn't have even expected Freddie to be like, I was very skeptical of Freddie coming here. I didn't want to pay him, all that stuff. I didn't think he'd be this bad. I didn't think Nolan McLean was going to take some lumps in the beginning of the season as bad as he necessarily did. Like, there were a lot of things that I necessarily wasn't expecting to see that ended up happening. You know, it was it sucked. It sucked when we had to go a long time without Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto playing together. You know what I mean? This team was killed by injuries.
Went bad. Like that's so rare to happen on a baseball team or on a team period. That everything goes bad. Everything. That is very uncommon. Like, listen, all the scouts, all the execs, they were just like, everybody's perplexed by the Mets because nobody saw it coming.
And remember that you thought it was a bad joke that I made early in the season, and I said it's going to take for us to get under 20 games under 500 for Bo Bichette to hit 250 or better. Didn't I not say he was going to start hitting after the season was over?
Here's now.
On paper, his numbers are not bad. It's just
too
late.
Now I found it, Tom. I found it. We have been talking a long time, and shouts to the silent assassin as well. We've been talking in our group chat, and I've always said that, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. It's not me. It's him. It's that guy over there. You are Mr. Negative. You say the Mets are not going to be good. I don't believe that the team was good. Oh, they're going to wait until 20 games on the 500 until Bo starts hitting. And what happens?
But I've said these things and they've come different. Hold on.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you.
Let me finish.
You're
a jinx. So what you need to start doing, instead of being negative, maybe you need to start talking positive about the team, because maybe if you do that, maybe then they'll listen to you because you're such a fucking jinx. So how about just do that? And then we can see how we can be able to move forward and evaluate that. You've been too negative. So my homework for you next season is no negative conversations, all positive conversations.
Tom, let me tell you a story about conversations with this guy real quick. When we first hired Stearns, my first text message to Barry was, I do not like this guy. Was it not?
Yeah, but
and then he fired Buck, and I was like, nope, he's rubbed me the wrong way. 2024 was a fluke. I don't even give him credit because he inherited most of that team. 25 comes. I told Barry about Frankie Montas. I told him about Paul Blackburn. I was told to wait and see, and I'm wrong, and Stearns shouldn't be fired. And then this offseason that just passed, I said this team is not going to be good. He ripped the heart and soul out of the team. Barry was on the Stearns train for a long time, and it took him till last season to jump off the Stearns train.
Because you have to give people a chance.
But did I not have the foresight to know he was going to wreck this organization?
That's so you have to give somebody a chance to fail. I'm not gonna write somebody off, because if that's the case, then you might as well write off all the prospects that we got right now and think that they're not gonna do well. I'm not gonna do that.
But I've been right. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Everything that I've said that was going to happen has happened.
Well, I mean, like, death, taxes, and the Mets are going to fuck things up. I mean, you're not going out on a limb saying the Mets are going to ruin everything. Everybody in this chat right now has got plenty of scars to prove that the Mets do things wrong 10 times out of 10. But look, I can't. It does hurt. No, it's definitely painful. It hurts me because I've said so many times on the show that I feel like 2024 was such a fun run, but I feel like it set us up to be here. Yep. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're tanking in the NFL and you win a couple of games at the end of the year and screw yourself out of the number 1 overall pick. You know what I mean? You went on a magical
like the Jets,
like the Jets, yeah, like all the time with the Jets. You went on a magical run in 2024 that didn't allow David Stearns to do the teardown that he probably initially wanted to do.
Yeah,
and it kind of just kicked the can down the road, and now we're kind of here. Again, the whole heart and soul of the team. I'm fine with Nimmo being gone. I'm even fine with Pete being gone. I don't even know if either of them being here would have affected anything different with this season.
It might not be as bad. We might be in the hunt for a wild card, maybe.
Maybe. Like maybe the pitching's the I don't know. Pitching was still kind of up and down a lot of the year, and I'm not convinced that we would have had everybody else playing. But they'd be marginally better. They'd be marginally better. I don't know if that's worth 5 years for 5 years and whatever Pete's getting paid by the Orioles, but not a very stellar organization. We don't even know if Pete can see.
Look, I saw that clip. That's a good point right here, Armand. Stearns ripped the heart out, but look at the heart of Nimmo, Alonso, and McNeil, where the new teams are at. A's, Rangers, and O's are not making the playoffs.
There's 9 guys in the lineup. We've had baseball players have stellar years on bad teams.
Right. So then does that not apply to the Mets? They could still be here and they would still suck.
Yeah,
so what difference does it make? It's about what makes the fans feel nice.
If Pete drives in 100,
the fans don't feel nice now because they're gone. That's all it is. And then the team is losing, which makes it even worse. But at the end of the day, I'm good with them being gone, because at the end of the day, they didn't win. They didn't win shit when they were here. They didn't win anything. This is one of the most beloved Mets teams or Mets tenures or Mets eras, and they're losers.
I wouldn't call 24 a loser.
They're losers.
Oh, but you don't want to give them credit for 24. You said
No,
it
I
was
don't
a
want to give.
fluke.
No, I don't want to give.
Oh, you
Stearns
Stearns credit. Okay,
It's a
that's fair. No, that's
fluke.
fair. That's fair.
That was a Billy Epler built team in 24, and
Right,
he just added supplemental pieces to it.
But Alfred, you called it a fluke.
It was a fluke.
So if it's a fluke, then that even goes into the narrative that they're definitely losers now because it was a fluke.
22 was a great year to be at Citi Field. So.
It was a fluke. You see, the thing is, I have a very fond memory and affinity for the 2015 team.
You and me both.
We got to the World Series.
I was at Game 3.
That team when they broke up that team, that hurt me because it was like, damn, these are our guys that got us here. These motherfuckers didn't do nothing. And I'm not saying that they're bad players. It just didn't work. So for people to have this deep affinity for these players, they didn't do nothing when they were here. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, it's hard to not have. It would have been different had we had some players that actually, like, I'm not even talking about like perform to some level. Like Jorge Polanco is basically Jed Lowry.
Dog shit.
Like the fact that we let those guys go, great, that's cool. But the fact that we brought in a lot of guys that just don't play. That don't play baseball. They don't play baseball. That's my big problem with a lot of them. They don't play. So
I think that's everybody's problem because I think that if we would have replaced those guys and then brought in guys that actually played every day, but the team still didn't, they still wasn't like, winning games or whatever. I don't think Met fans would feel bad because at least these guys are professional hitters and they're good. You probably still have a portion of the fan base that's just like, oh, we want our guys back. But at the end of the day, it's worse because they're not producing. It's worse.
Oh, it's because they're not even playing. I think it's mostly because they're not even fucking playing. Like,
yeah.
I still think if they brought in some players and the Mets we're again marginally better than we are right now, like still outside looking in on the wild card, you'd still be pretty upset. It just feels like a big spit in the face when
the only way that was gonna heal it, Tom, was that this whatever iteration of the team that was different had to make the playoffs. Yeah. Right? That's the only way that you can be able to rub the stink out and fans be okay with moving on from those guys if you make the playoffs or you win the division, right? Something that we haven't done in a while. Like that's the only thing that would have made people be like, all right, well, maybe that it was the right move to be able to move away from these guys. But the fact that we didn't do that, we're always gonna have these conversations until they do so.
Yeah, if they brought in like Ryan O'Hearn, like we've been talking about for I feel like every single week, if they would have brought him in, and then they're marginally better, maybe even in a wild card spot, and Benj and Ewing are doing what they're doing, everybody's gonna forget about Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso because we have two new young guns coming up. You know what I mean? Like the team sucks.
That's
sucks, man. That's why we're here. That's why we're mourning.
And that right, we're mourning.
That's why you get a $10 credit for concessions with your ticket now.
You get a $10 credit?
Yeah, every ticket going forward for the rest of the year, you get a $10 food credit.
What can you buy with $10?
I mean, it'll take $10 off of whatever your order is, which is not bad.
I'll take that.
Tenders and fries basket, $15, sir.
Yeah, whatever.
Now, if you're a season ticket holder, they should listen to what you're saying.
They should, and you know what? The fact that my rep actually called me over the weekend and was like, "Hey, renewal window is open for next year." So my first question was, "What's the increase?" And he goes, 3%. I said, "You got to be kidding me!"
They are raising ticket prices
again after 4% last year.
I heard on the Fan that they weren't doing that.
No, that's not the information I got.
Unless they're doing it just for a season ticket holder.
Well, because Evan was saying Evan has
season.
Yeah, he said on the Fan that they. Do you have a full season?
No, I have a half.
Maybe it's for maybe if you have a full season they don't increase it or something. But he said that he got a letter saying that they weren't going to increase ticket prices after it was going to stay the same as this year. But I guess he lied.
Like they got to do something because you can't expect like right now if you go to a game, Tom, in the next homestand it'll probably be virtually empty. You got to give us a reason to come to the stadium. And I told my rep point blank, I'm like, I don't like the city the team's at right now. It's a waste of money. The only games that are worth it is to see whoever is on the visiting team. Like when the Dodgers came to town a couple of weeks ago. Or if you really care about Benj and Ewing and want to see them play.
You guys want to hear how stupid I am? Last year, my family and I, we all pitched in and we rented we got a suite. It was for the last game of the season against the Nationals. They obviously lost. We did it again this year.
Oh man. Oh man.
So I'm going in like 2 weeks.
How many is it of you guys that are going?
It's like, I think it's like 15 of us. 15. It's like a lot of people. But
all right. So they might give you. They might have worked with you on the price then, because they always advertise if you get 15 or more, they'll give you like a bump.
Oh, it was. I could tell you. I don't really care. It was like $270 a ticket.
Oh, that's not bad.
$270, but no drinks. You have to buy your own drinks. It would have been like over $3 if you paid for the drink package.
Food included though.
I think there's some food. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably chicken fingers or something, but
better than nothing. Listen, and see, the last time Barry and I went to a game, we went to that Royals game that we should have never lost with that Little League home run in the first that never left the infield. But there's a reason, because every time I go, I never park in the lot. And Barry actually was nice enough to drive me to my car. And as long as
let me tell this story. You're not gonna tell the story the right way. This dude parked in Brooklyn.
It was not Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn?
It was not Brooklyn.
Like the man walked like 15 miles to Citi Field. Like,
damn.
I kept driving, right? And I was just like, yo, where's your car, dog? Oh, yeah, you gotta go up a little bit more. And we're having a conversation, another 5 minutes pass. I'm just like, dude, where's your car?
Is that Barclays Center? No.
Like, the dude is trekking miles to Citi Field. I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous, dog. Like, ridiculous.
I respect the commitment, honestly.
Listen, I always get
just because you don't want to pay $40.
No, I don't want to pay $40 because this team does not deserve any extra money. They know
if the team was good, you'd pay the $40?
Maybe I'd consider it.
I don't think so. I think you're still trekking from Brooklyn and go to Citi Field.
All I'm hearing is he's getting a nice healthy exercise before he goes and sits down in his seats to go watch a baseball game. That's all I'm hearing.
I got to make that trip to the stadium and back to the car. So whatever I burn off. But it's about a good 20-minute walk. But
20-minute walk. We was in a car for 25 minutes. What are you talking about?
But no, I because again, and this is the perspective I tell people why the season holders are the ones that suffer. Because you got to remember, they will not give you your ticket package unless it's paid in full a couple of weeks before the season is up. I mean, before the season begins. Meaning, so I have tickets to 41 games before a first pitch is even thrown. So that's number one. So I get comments on my TikTok and my Instagram all the time, and they're like, "Oh, why do you keep going to games?" Because I paid for it already.
Yeah.
So and then you can't even sell the tickets back because they're not worth anything because nobody.
This is why I will never buy season tickets, because I would choose to go to the games that I want to go to, and then I don't have a commitment elsewhere.
The only perk to this whole thing is that I got a phone call from Jose Reyes today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, invited me to come to a trivia event tomorrow. But
that's awesome.
That is the only perk I've gotten.
I gotta ask though. So what are they? I know we're kind of going off of the whole trade deadline stuff, but do they have did your rep tell you what their plan is for next year? Like, what happens if you pay them for these tickets and we don't have baseball till July?
So
that's a good point.
They said that they would get back to me on that, but it was similar to because when COVID happened, they gave everybody flexible options. They offered people refunds. So I'm assuming they'll do the same thing. If you didn't take the refund in 2020, they put it towards 21, and you didn't have to pay for 21. So I would assume you're going to get a refund or just credited some amount of money if there's a shortened year next year. But that's another reason why I'm hesitant to, because I don't want to start making payments for something that I'm not going to be able to use next year.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
real quick though, I just want to say, coming off of a trade deadline and coming off of probably what is the most embarrassing Mets season one of the most embarrassing Mets seasons we've ever seen. Top three. I could give you top three. Is there any maybe like delusion, you could even call it, to say that like there is no fucking way that they could let something this bad again happen next year? Like, is there no way that processes could get changed or ideas about how to build a baseball team could change between this year and next year that would make you think that, okay, they're telling me they're going to compete in 2027. I think I can believe them, because again, I think last year, dumpster fire, people stopped going to games towards the end of the year. A lot of this year, the stadium has been dead. Like, you've had a couple pockets of good moments. Stadium's been dead. There is no way Steve Cohen's going to go with 3 years of this.
I think that, wow, that's a good question. I think that we are right back to where we're comfortable as fans, because let's think about it, right? Whenever we think that we're going to be good, we normally aren't.
Yeah.
And when the team, when the fan base kind of just says, you know what, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I'm going to go to the games. I'm going to support the team. Whatever happens, happens. But I have zero expectation on this team, and they go ahead and go win 100 games. So that's my take. And I think that's going to be a lot of Met fans' mindset, is that we've put our trust in you, and we've literally given you our all for the last 5+ years that you've owned this team as a new owner. We've given you grace and a free pass to be able to put this thing together. You put your guy in here, and we were told that we're supposed to be competitive and be good. Now we're gonna go right back to being who the fuck we are, and we're just not gonna believe you anymore. We're just not going to go ahead and give you that optimism anymore. And we're just going to go ahead and go see what the fuck happens. And if something happens, then we'll go ahead and go to the park. But outside of that, no. There is no confidence or no faith that this particular guy can be able to figure it out. So as Met fans, we have to go back to what we normally realize, and what we feel safe with is doubt, right? Like,
yeah,
we feel comfortable and okay with hugging doubt and still being fans and still loving our team. That's where we are.
That's fair.
Don't forget the 5-year window when he bought the team. He promised a championship in 5 years.
He came out and said that he regretted that.
I hate when owners do that. Don't promise, because then you're gonna upset the fan base.
Hey, well, I'm not gonna kill him over that. He regretted it. He regretted it.
Can I bring up one free range thought? I said it on my show many a times in the last couple of weeks, but I really think we should have flipped Francisco Alvarez for something. I know, Tom, you had responded to me on Instagram about that a couple of weeks ago. I really wholeheartedly feel that I get the kid is 24 years old, but I'm just looking at the back of the baseball card. He had 24 home runs in 2023. Hasn't even cracked 20 since. Like, we're talking about low teens. 11 in 24, 11 last year, and 12 so far this year. The only thing good about him offensively is his average. Defensive wise, and this is amazing to me, that he leads the league in pass balls, and he's missed time. He hasn't even played the full season, and you're leading the league as a catcher in pass balls. Granted, Luis Torrens is no Francisco Alvarez offensively, but Torrens has got a better arm. He has a better rate of throwing runners out, and his pop time is better. You look at Alvarez, and Tom, you said it earlier on the show. He was, as a prospect, everybody was talking about his prolific power. We even saw it in the Futures game one year. He hit like a third deck shot in Coors Field. And then he comes here, and it's just the home runs go down every year. The RBIs go down every year. And the availability of games played goes down every year because he's either injured or getting sent back down to the minors to work on his swing. He's had 3 injuries in 3 consecutive seasons. I mean, call it bad luck or what you want. And I know people will say, well, he's 24. He still has time on his side. But I'm not convinced that he'll get back to his 2023 level of production. And he's not the best defensive catcher either.
No, I think I agree with you. I just, like, I guess I just look at it like if we're trading Francisco Alvarez right now, you're probably just trading him for a bag of balls. And because of all the things that you just listed, and I would just err on the side of he's still pretty young. We don't really have a viable option outside of just starting Luis Torrens. And I don't want to see any more of Hayden Sanger. I don't want to see any more of I don't want to see I don't think Parada's got it. There's no solid, like if you had a solid answer for me behind him, I'd be like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Chris Suero might have it, to tell you the truth.
But he's still young, though, isn't he?
Here's what they need to do. Fuck Chris Suero and respectfully, but if you want to go ahead and go make a splash next season, go give me Hunter Goodman
or Shane Langoliers.
Well, Langoliers, we don't know how he's going to recover from that meniscus tear, but
I'll take Hunter Goodman just because you know what you can do with Hunter Goodman. If you get a Hunter Goodman, you can put him in catcher, but you can shore up your first baseman and turn him into a first, because that's where he's going to actually grade out in the next 5 years. So
I have a tough time wanting to trade for a big, if he's going to play first, that's great. I'd have a tough time trading any real assets for a catcher because, what
if you trade Alvarez for him?
They get hurt all the time. Yeah, but are they going to take out? You have to give Alvarez and something else.
Alvarez and something. Of course, you give Alvarez something else. But
again, I don't know. I look at catchers as guys that are just going to be perpetually beat up and hurt. Like I'd rather use some of this prospect capital to go get maybe another good starting pitcher or a first baseman. Do that. I'd rather that because
I'm in the mindset of flip them before it gets worse.
Or what you do is you flip them for Hunter Goodman with some other prospects. You have Luis Torrens as your catcher one, and then you call up Chris Suero to be a catcher too for the future. But again, I think how old is Chris Suero? I gotta Google it.
I know he's in Binghamton right now.
He's early 20s.
Chris Suero, born 2004. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. All right. Yeah, but again, Chris, I guess I'm also super skeptical about wanting to put big time bats, because Chris Suero looks like he's going to hit a little bit at catcher. I think I'm
not to mention he plays first and he plays left field too.
That's what I'm saying.
I want bats to not catch. I want guys that can hit to not catch because I just don't want to live in a world where you're just getting beat up behind the plate regularly. You know what I mean?
Goodman has 3 years of control, just like Armand said. That's the guy that the Mets should go get.
Just remember, just because you come up a catcher doesn't mean you stay a catcher. Kyle Schwarber, Ben Rice. So,
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Exactly. So that's all I'm saying. You get a guy like Hunter Goodman, you can do a lot of special things with him. Because a team like the Rockies would be interested in getting a guy like Alvarez. Because he would probably hit over there.
And I'm shocked they didn't move him because there are a lot of teams still in the hunt, both AL and NL, that need catchers.
I think because of the market for catchers this year, the catcher market was at a premium. So if you had a good one, teams were not giving them up without getting a significant haul.
That haul that Baltimore got for Adley, I'd have took that haul for Alvarez.
Oh yes, I would do that.
That haul for
Give
Alvarez.
Me your farm system.
Yeah.
And it's not like Adley. I mean, he was an all-star this year, but it's not like he's the groundbreaking catcher of the century. So
he's not going to play for him for a couple weeks. Probably he's been hurt for a while. Yeah.
So the Yankees needed a catcher because Austin Wells and Ali Sanchez are not good. The White Sox need a catcher because Edgar Cuero is not all that great offensively. So there were teams there were a lot of teams that I'm sure would have taken a 264 hitting catcher in their lineup somewhere.
I could see it. You could sway me. I'm not dead set on Alvarez has to be here. I was just I was erring on the side of he's still pretty young. You're probably going to be selling him pretty low because he's been hurt a lot and doesn't have a lot of power right now. But you could sway me. If I got the Adley Rutschman deal, I'm in. If you got the Adley Rutschman deal, I'm totally in. I'll drive him to the airport.
Yeah, shocked we didn't move Ronnie. I thought Ronnie would have been a goner. You would have flipped him for cheap, but I thought he would have been a goner because I feel like he has no future here.
No.
So,
I don't need to. Again, I just there was a point in time where I thought Ronnie Mauricio just needed his moments. I'm at the point where it's like, you have had your moments. It's not working here. The guy that we thought we were getting is not that guy. You're not that guy. At least you're not here, not in Queens. Ship him out. Is he Rule 5 eligible next year?
Might be.
He might be.
Because I don't know how they can't just let him toil away in the minors.
I was telling Barry from when he was in big league camp years ago in spring training. You know, he's a power hitting, switch hitting shortstop, and we have one of those for a decade. So there really was no place for him.
Well, he's a power hitting, switch hitting shortstop in AAA.
But yes, in AAA. Yes, in AAA.
That dude comes to the majors and can't hit a curveball. So
he is a quadruple A player. Definitely of it.
So that is our deadline show. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, as Met fans, what we can be able to do is be confident. Just be confident. We don't have the answers. We don't know what these players are going to be. All we can do is just hope that we have somebody or a few of these guys that pan out and end up being our next favorite Met players. Right? Hopefully somebody comes along. I would love for this kid Jefferson Rojas to be my next favorite player. I would love it.
We got lottery tickets.
Huh?
We got lottery tickets. Plenty of them now.
Yeah, we got a lot of lottery tickets. So final words for Tom and Alfred. Alfred, you go first.
Let me try to be a little bit positive since I'm being labeled negative.
Goodness, please. Thank you.
No, well, like I said, these trades, you can't really evaluate them too much because, like we said, prospects are always going to be what they are until they're proven otherwise. Prospects, and once you're no longer a prospect, it's either you're a stud or a dud. So we won't have the answers to how these trades pan out for at least another 2 to 3 years, most of them, maybe even 4. I just want to see this team competitive. I don't mind if what we got back this weekend is used to flip to get something in the offseason, because we're going to need some real – if we're going to compete, like Stern says, in the offseason, we got to make some moves because I don't think there's nobody in the farm that's ready to contribute right now. It's not like we have a ton of Carson Benjes and AJ Ewings lined up. If Bo Bichette opts out, we're going to need a replacement at third base. We still need a first baseman going forward. So we have holes to fill, not to mention we need a veteran starter. We just wiped 50% of our bullpen, so we're going to need veteran bullpen arms or proven bullpen arms. So David Stearns is going to have a lot of work to do in the offseason. So, the trade deadline, again, unless you're a buyer, you really can't. I mean, and even if you're a buyer, you still can't really. You got to wait to see what happens with these prospects to see if you made a good trade or not. But we just got to be patient. But more so, I'm more focused on what's done in the offseason between October and February, if there is even a season next season, rather than getting worked up over a trade deadline.
Absolutely. Tom?
Yeah, I think that the real thing to watch is what happens this offseason when, we get to actually have an offseason. I think a lot of these guys that we traded for that anybody's bitching about online, I think a lot of them aren't going to be here because I think a lot of them are going to be flipped for other players to come and help us on the big club. I don't think we're going to get to know a lot of these guys. The Cubs prospect, I think we will, because I think he's too high. I think they're going to hold on to him a little bit unless we get
100 prospect, man.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably hold on to him. I think we're going to get to know his name. But this is all of this was just a precursor to this is the Infinity War to the offseason endgame, where they're going to have to use these guys to go get us some actual serviceable major league players, because that's all that really matters. All these guys are just names on a page. Who the hell cares? You don't know them now. You're not going to know them in a couple of months because they're going to be playing for somebody else. Right. You know what I mean? I am not interested in single A and double A players right now. I am interested on guys that are going to be here and to contribute at the major league level. And I just have to hope that my team is not, he might not be a boy genius. He might not be as smart as he think he is. I just have to think that he's not a complete and total
moron.
Word that I can't say. To think that what he's been doing is good enough to win. I have to think that he's looked at these last 2 years and said, my evaluations are wrong. I need to do something different. definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I can't just assume that that's going to happen.
I think that's where I'm at with it too. Right. It's one of those things where the entire organization, top to bottom, needs to look in the mirror and have a self-evaluation. You need to reevaluate how you're developing guys, how you're approaching free agency, how you're closing deals. Everything about what you do has to now be like reevaluated. And there's nothing wrong with that. To be able to say, hey, listen, we've made some really, really big mistakes and we have to fix these things now. Because if we don't fix it now, then we're not going to have a chance to do it again. Because if they go ahead and fail big again, there won't be another David Stearns regime to fix it. There'll be somebody else that's going to be reaping the benefits or having to, put Band-Aids all over the place to be able to repair the damage that he's done. So that's all it is that we hope that he can be able to self-reflect, not just with the media and give us what we want to hear, but really do some self-reflection and be able to have the right people in his organization to be able to develop these guys and have the training tools and have everything in place that's actually evaluating these players properly to be able to help them maximize their potential. Because what I believe is that, and Dove said it, so many people have said it that are watching the Mets, is that something's off. It's not just one thing. There's a myriad of problems organizationally that's wrong. It's not the players. The players are not producing, but there's something at the core that's rotten in regards to how he's going about his business. So as Met fans, we can only hope that this is not the same feeling that we have the same time next year. Hopefully we're just like, we're buying because, we're leading the wild card or we're leading the division or we're in the hunt. This feeling we should never have as Met fans for a very long time. We've had this feeling too many times in our history, and we're done with it. So whoever can be able to get us to feel the opposite of this shit, just get it done. I don't care. I don't care if he wants to go ahead and take all the fucking credit. I don't give a shit. Just go ahead and build a winner. However you need to build a winner, do it. That's all I care about. So that's all for the show. Shouts to Armand. Shouts to whoever else was in here. We'll be back next week. Shouts to Alfred for being a guest on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And check out the Metropolitan Report. He's on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. He's all over the place in regards to all of the channels. So, he's active, very proud of him with all the stuff that he's done. So yeah, until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.